Elmira Police Department announced that a decades-long mystery was finally solved using DNA testing from evidence in the long cold case. On Sunday, March 15, 1964, 12-year-old Mary Theresa Simpson was last seen on the corner of Harriet and Market Street in Elmira as she was walking on her way home from visiting her cousins and grandparents on Sierra Street. 4 days later, on March 19th, her body was discovered by hunters near Combs Hill Road, hidden under a mound of dirt and boulders close to Lover's Lane near an Indian trail that led to Rorick's Glen. Local author Christina Finelli researched the case closely to write What Happened to Me, exploring the Mary Theresa Simpson cold case. Finelli began writing the book in 2024 after being inspired to help tell Mary's story with the help of a retired Elmira police officer.
I'm in a writers group at the Steel Memorial Library that meets one time a week, and a retired police officer works there, and he'd always wanted the book written and decided that since he had the history and the knowledge of it, but not the skills to write that kind of novel, he asked me to write it.
Mary's sister, Linda Gelpin, also collaborated with Finelli to make the story possible.
And then started digging through the Star-Gazette newspaper back in 1964, and voila, there she is.
It was an amazing book. She filled me in on everything while she was writing it. I agreed to it, and I was so glad that I could help her out. And I haven't got a chance to read the book myself because I'm afraid of breaking down.
But one day.
The case garnered local media attention at first, but grew cold, leaving the community haunted about who took Mary's life. Finelli's book documents and recaps the murders covered in the local newspapers within a 50-mile radius of Elmira. Mary was laid to rest here at St. Peter and Paul's Cemetery in the south side of the city. But the mystery would remain unsolved as Mary's glasses, clothing, and other personal items sat in a vault frozen in time as evidence. 6 decades later, in 2022, Elmira Police Department Sergeant Goodwin began coordinating with the FBI and New York State Police to submit for more DNA testing in an effort to reopen the case, made possible by a grant provided by nonprofit group Seasons of Justice. A year later, in 2023, EPD teamed up with Russell Sage College's CERC program to help investigate the cold case.
Elmira Police Department, like I said, it is a complete team. They had NetMec involved, the FBI was involved. You know, it really is everybody contributing in many different ways to move this case to be resolved in such a quick manner. Because when you really look at it, 2023, they also submitted the evidence. And then the genealogy occurred.
Criminologist Dr. Christina Lane is the director of the CIRC or CERC program at Russell Sage College, a program that helps investigate cold missing persons and homicide cases. Dr. Lane told WSNY how a team of investigators, including Sage College interns, used DNA testing and investigative genetic genealogy to identify Mary's killer.
What they found, which was amazing, the miniskirt that Mary Theresa Simpson was wearing in 1964 stayed in the Elmira police freezer this whole time. Sergeant Goodwin, it was amazing. His presentation, he showed how large it was, the degraded DNA sample to test, and it was smaller than a grain of sand.
By carefully extracting that very small sample of male DNA found on Mary's clothes, a familial match was found using the Combined DNA Index System, or otherwise known as CODIS, database. Testing found a familial match through a relative of the late Elmira man Alfred Murray, who died 20 years earlier in 2004, almost 40 years to the exact day Mary went missing. Murray's grave was exhumed in 2025 to confirm that the DNA did indeed match. He was not listed as a suspect on the radar of newspaper reports, nor did he appear in Finelli's book.
It was interesting to know that it was someone within the vicinity that really never got spotlighted, but I can't complain. I did the same thing. I was going through all the newspapers, and even in all the articles I was reading during that time span of her, his name didn't come up in any of them newspapers as being arrested for anything.
Throughout the years, Murray had several incidents with local police, including burglary, larceny, and child molestation. He was 33 at the time of Mary's murder and a Korean War veteran.
But he also may have been overseas because he was doing military service time too. So that could be why he was not really a spotlight figure during investigations.
They left no rock left unturned. When you look at this, we're talking about 6,000 pages of investigation. So it's amazing that they missed this individual when they were investigating. Shows how sophisticated he may have been.
But advances in genetic genealogy proved to be much more sophisticated.
Police were very thorough with the investigation. It's always amazing when it's a stranger that only forensic genetic genealogy can solve it.
Christina Finelli says she hopes to take a deeper dive in another book to tell the final chapter of Mary's story by pursuing a FOIL or Freedom of Information request for Alfred Murray's records.
And if I can get enough information, I will see about putting out a sequel for it. But that all depends on what I can get a hold of. If the FOIL report I asked for will give me enough, I will definitely put something out there.
As far as the justice, no, we didn't get to go to court and, face him and everything, but at least they found out who it was.
Yeah, thank goodness.
That was the main thing.
Though justice could not be served through the court system because Murray had passed, Mary's family and the community have finally gotten answers that have given them some peace and a start to gaining closure.
Yeah, I do have the closure, and I'm glad because a lot of people thought it was somebody in my family. Now they can't blame anybody, so it's over with.
I also think that helps to let a lot of the animosity and the finger pointing that's been going on for many years come to a close too. Yeah. And I think that was something that was definitely needed to come to an end.
Yeah, that sense of peace for the community as well.
Yeah, exactly. We just hope, if anything, she can now rest her soul.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, I want my sister to rest in peace now.
Sonia Ellison, WSNY, Elmira.